Hey everyone, this is Lindy from Love Create Celebrate, and I am totally getting ready for spring over here and very excited to show you guys how to do your own simple floral centerpieces. I started by gathering some vases of different sizes and shapes from around my house. I used simple classic florals including white Gerbera Daisies, white Tulips, Italian Ruscus, and Plumosa Ferns. I have two tall vases. In one, I just put a single classic Gerbera Daisy, and in the other, a single tulip with some Italian Ruscus. For the other three vases, I needed to use some wet foam to help hold my flowers in place. I started by putting a full Floracraft wet foam brick inside a container of water, and slowly let the wet foam absorb the water and sink down naturally, which only took a minute or two. Once the Floracraft wet foam brick was fully absorbed with water, I took it out, let it drip for a few seconds, and then got ready to cut it to fit inside my vases. Using a utility knife, you can simply cut the foam to the approximate size of your vase opening. You can keep rounding off different corners and edges until it fits snugly inside. Using the wet foam allows me to keep my flowers hydrated and also lets me keep my florals in place, which will be perfect for these simple arrangements I'm doing. Next, I got started arranging some florals in my shortest vase. I usually have two types of greenery, one more substantial piece that makes up sort of the base of my floral arrangements, and then another type of greenery that's more of a filler. In this case, the Italian Ruscus was the base of my floral arrangements. To start, you always want to remove the bottom layers of leaves and blooms to make sure that they don't hit the water line. Once the leaves were gone, I put my Italian Ruscus into the wet foam at different angles around the edges of the vase. Once the base is in, I like to start using my larger filler flowers and slowly go down in size. In this case, that meant putting my tulips in next. If you're using flowers like tulips that have a softer stem, you may need to guide them into the wet foam a bit more carefully. Remember that once you put a stem in, you can't take it out again, so play around with the arrangement a little bit before you actually stick it into the wet foam. My final step in this arrangement was to put some stems from the Plumosa Fern in underneath the tulips as filler. Once I was happy with the arrangement, I moved on to my next vase. My process with these larger vases was exactly the same. I started by placing my Italian Ruscus on the bottom as a base, and then moved on to my larger florals, and gradually went down to my smallest stem, which was my filler. I varied the number of each flower and stem that I had in each vase, but the number that you put in is totally up to you, just whatever makes you feel like the vase has a nice balance to it. And my last vase, I'll just show you super quick here. I basically followed the exact same process again, except in this vase I wanted to keep all of the stems a little bit taller to add a bit of height to my arrangements. I wanted my floral arrangements to look almost freeform, and I'm so happy with how they turned out, especially on this beautiful spring tablescape. If you enjoyed the tutorial, please give it a thumbs up and let me know in the comments. As always, for more great DIYs and tutorials, visit lovecreatecelebrate.com.